It's your boy DJ Akademiks, and check it out, because Drake Hotline Bling fails to accomplish what Drake wished it had accomplished last week. Now, let me just tell you what's going on, right? Or what was happening. Because for the charts that were released today, Drake hoped he got the #1 single in the country, which would be his first as a lead solo artist. He was on a song with Rihanna back in the day called What's My Name? But that's her song, okay? Now, he was trying to do it with Hotline Bling, which is, you could say, his drum song. But listen, come on, Drake finessed him, okay? So Drake was trying to get #1. He did not. Now, why is that? Because I'm going to try to give you guys an understanding of what these charts are about, and especially the Billboard Hot 100 charts, because I keep telling you, you hear rappers talk about their #1 and they're talking about some obscure chart. But the main chart in the country is the Billboard Hot 100 charts if we're talking about individual songs, and the main chart for albums if we're talking about overall is the Billboard Top 200. Okay, now here it is, because the simplest way to break it down to you guys is that, listen, okay, if you're in the NBA and you're a white player, okay, do you want to be the best white basketball player, or do you just want to be the best basketball player, period? Doesn't matter who you're competing with, okay? Now, in reality, the Billboard Hot 100 chart, okay, it measures a couple things: radio play, online streaming, and also sales, both physical and digital. Now, Hotline Bling, okay, it sold 118,837 units. Now, The Weeknd, because The Weeknd was #1, The Hills sold 189,029 units. Now, here's the thing, because a lot of people, a lot of fans are saying, well, if Drake didn't release to Apple Music, and that is also partially true. So Drake released Hotline Bling music video to Apple Music, and people are saying because Apple Music does not report to Nielsen, and Nielsen SoundScan is like the company that measures everything, right? They're saying that because he released it to Apple Music that didn't report to Nielsen, basically that's why Hotline Bling is not #1. Now, this is a big deal, because Drake could have possibly missed out on getting #1 at all. Because if you don't know, next week we're going to have Adele. She's going to debut on the charts with Hello, and pretty much shit's about to get real. Okay, so pretty much Adele is definitely going to be #1 next week, so Drake definitely won't be #1. And if Adele keeps her position on the charts, Hotline Bling eventually is going to fall, and Drake might have missed out on his chance. Now, let's just do some real quick calculations, and I'll give you the quick statistics on how everything kind of compiled. If you don't care for this part, I'm sorry. However, if you do, stick around. Now, here it is, because the quick calculation, okay, #1, right? Radio play does matter, right? So for the week that's actually being charted, okay, Drake was #4. At least for his song Hotline Bling, and The Weeknd was #1 with The Hills, okay? Now, as far as most digital downloads, okay, The Weeknd was #3, and Drake did have the #1 most downloaded song in the country, which is Hotline Bling. As I said, those are just pieces of the pie. Now, as far as streaming, and this is where Apple Music would have really came into the pie, Hotline Bling actually fell. So the change from last week, right, before the video was put out, it fell in the week it got put out. So pretty much it was higher on the charts before the video was out, and when the video came out, it fell. The reason why is a lot of people were probably streaming it on Apple Music. Apple Music is not reporting it, and because of that, it fell on the regular charts. Okay, now, had Drake released his music video to YouTube/Vivo, his sales would have been more, okay? Maybe he would have eclipsed The Weeknd, but it's not that simple. It's not that, okay, automatically release it to YouTube, you'll get the #1 spot, because if you do the quick calculation, okay, and assuming that pretty much radio play is the same, because the statistics and how they kind of tabulate that and factor it in is very weird, but if we assume that Drake and The Weeknd got the same amount of radio play, okay, Drake would have needed to basically sell 70,000 more singles, okay, which could have came from direct downloads or could have came from streaming, which if we're going to say that everybody bought it that would have bought it, then if we're going to just say it's solely the streams that came off Apple Music, and I'm hoping you're following, we would be talking about Hotline Bling video being released to YouTube or Vivo, and it would have had to tabulate at least 10.5 million views for the week. Now, that's a possibility that could definitely be done by Drake, right? 10.5 million views on YouTube. A lot of people are talking about it. Definitely seems like a possibility. But as I said, that's with a lot of ifs. That's trying to fix and hold certain numbers to a certain thing. Like, of course, Drake did not get more airplay than The Weeknd. So it's a very hard equation to balance. But definitely, Apple Music definitely did hurt him somewhat. We're not sure if it would have made him get number one, but he might have missed out on it completely. So for all you Drake fans, the streak continues. But if he got an album coming up soon, he'll definitely get it there. If not, maybe something random happens. Maybe for whatever reason, Adele doesn't hold her position on the charts. And by the way, if you don't know, she did like 70 million views in like 2 days. Okay, we were talking about Drake getting 10 million views in like, what is it, like a week? Adele did 70 million in like 2 days. So pretty much she's going to have number one for the first week. And if she keeps that number one spot, Drake could get robbed of that spot. But he'll get it eventually in the future. And he's still got a long career, and he's still got a lot more music to put out. And if he puts out great music like Hotline Bling, I see no reason why he shouldn't get it eventually. It took Jay-Z a long ass time for him to get his first one. I believe like after like his 10th album or like his 10th year in the game. So it takes some while. It's not the easiest thing to do, especially when you aren't a pop artist making specifically pop music. And when I say pop music, the traditional sound in pop. Like if you're not making songs with Z100 in mind, you might have a hard time doing it. Okay, get in the comment box. Make sure you guys like, definitely subscribe. It's your boy, the Akademiks, man. I'm out.